Hello and welcome to One Storyteller, because now we have a name for this thing that we're doing.
Amazing.
Incredible name. I didn't really come up with it. I just picked it from the list of things you sent.
Hey, it was an acceptable list.
It's the most normal of what we had.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. My name is Reagan. I'm here joined by
Andrew.
the other guy he landed the cue. I was going to make fun of you because you missed the cue, but you didn't miss the cue.
Hey,
So
I'm improving.
yes, insert the joke about us being professionals. We're so good at this. Today we have Chapter 2. Fellowship of the Ring is the book we're in, if you're reading along with us. We're reading Chapter 2, The Shadow of the Past. And you said that you like this chapter a lot.
I do.
Please expound.
Oh. Yeah, maybe we can just...
What are your overall summary thought? Why does this chapter stand out to you as something that's so important or something that you enjoy and makes sense to you?
I think the thing that kind of takes it to being something I really enjoy is seeing Frodo's reactions to everything.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of is like a lore dump, all this
Yes,
exposition of telling and not showing
Yeah.
in this chapter.
Yeah.
So I can see why people might be a little burdened or psyched out by this chapter.
Maybe a little.
Maybe you were or something.
It's different, but yeah.
Okay. But I think seeing Frodo's reactions to everything being put upon him
Mm-hmm.
is really neat.
Yeah.
Very humanizing of him.
Humanizing for a hobbit.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
As much as that
Personality.
Yeah.
Yes. That makes sense to me. Yeah, it's an interesting chapter. I'm not sure that I would have put it as chapter 2. I've also not written The Lord of the Rings and become very famous. So there's a certain amount to which I can't argue with it, but there's a certain amount to which I didn't personally enjoy a lot of this, but
Okay.
we'll break down
Sure.
why that is, and maybe it will help me to have you as a lore expert here, because I have a lot of questions that this chapter raises.
I hopefully have some answers.
Okay. maybe the chapter is supposed to raise a bunch of questions.
Well,
I'm not exactly sure why this chapter is here, is one question.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I'll bring it up as we go.
Okay. Yeah.
There's plenty to talk about.
There is a lot.
So
Gandalf is. We are living vicariously through Frodo.
yes,
in
we
terms
are.
of learning everything that's different from The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Frodo's like, I thought this was true. He was like, watch out, man.
That's not how history works. Yeah, and so I guess it does work as a summary of the history. I have questions on why the history is that history. There are a few things that don't really make sense to me, and maybe if I delved into the Silmarillion and I actually read that as opposed to having skimmed it a decade ago, or some other stuff, maybe there are better answers, but I just don't love the way that it's summarized here. At least not the first half of it. I like the second half a lot, but
Okay.
Well,
we probably should just dive on in.
Okay.
We're hinting at a lot of things here.
Of course. So the chapter starts on page 70 in the real version.
Oh my goodness.
Because I have the real version.
I
Obviously.
thought you were making a joke about halfway, because mine starts on page 51.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, okay. The meat of the chapter does start a little bit into it, but it's not that bad.
Sure enough.
Chapter starts out with a reaction to chapter 1, which is
very much in the style of the first chapter too.
Yeah.
It's still those broad sweeps of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pictures of the Shire and essentially kind of snapshots of firsthand reporting on a bunch of different rumors that are circulating about Bilbo. And so you do see that Frodo starts wandering.
Yes.
Even as a young hobbit, even in his 30s now, he starts to wander around and get a little restless. That's not going to come to fruition for a while.
Yeah.
But it is there. And so you start to see some of that discontentment carrying over from chapter 1. That just intensifies kind of through chapters 2 and even into 3 a little bit.
Yeah.
Other things that you noticed about Frodo and the description, or anything that's in that opening there?
Well, it's like you're saying, we saw this in the first chapter as well, but there's a tension between Frodo wanting to go follow in Bilbo's footsteps, and just wanting to have a nice, peaceful bachelor's life at Bag End.
Yeah. Which would also be following in Bilbo's footsteps to a large degree.
Yeah.
At least for his young life, because I think a couple of times it talks about how Frodo is getting to 50 and Bilbo left at 51.
He left also at 50.
Also at 50.
Yeah.
So Frodo's getting to that time where like he's had the life that Bilbo had, and now he's about to go on an adventure like Bilbo had. And so he's very much his father, uncle's son, his adopted father's son, I guess is how you would say that. It does mention already in the chapter he's seeing signs of good preservation.
Yes.
He's the master of Bag End, like Bilbo is. He has a wanderlust for the mountains, which is exactly like he's following after the steps of Bilbo. You're just going to see more of that. He wants to stay, but it's almost like he just wants to stay instead of actually wanting to stay.
He definitely is a little confused about what he wants.
Yeah. It's also at this time that there are strange wayfarers.
Yes.
What does that mean? Like an actual question.
Oh,
I'm not sure
sure.
exactly what that's referring to.
Well, I think that's in the context of like a specific example brought up nearly right afterward.
Probably.
Let's see.
They do talk about dwarves coming.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, is all these like rumors and bad news that they're getting, that they're learning specifics about, is coming through dwarves who are fleeing from the east. Like, okay, things are getting rough over here. Let's go to like the only other dwarf kingdom, which is literally on the other side of the known world.
Yeah.
Because they have mountains near the Shire, and then they have their kingdoms near the Lonely Mountain.
Yeah, because it's Ered Luin on the west.
Yeah,
I know that from Lord of the Rings Online. You should play
That's
Lord of the
incredible.
Rings Online with me. It's incredible.
Sure.
It's a great game.
Yeah, so I think it's probably mostly referring to dwarven refugees.
Okay.
There's humans about
and it's also
too.
elves.
Yes.
Well, at least a few of them, and they'll run into some of those in chapter 3.
Elves are always leaving, but now they're hearing about Sauron gaining power, and like we need to.
Well, that's spoiler.
More of them.
Yeah.
More of them are leaving now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like elves very much. By the way,
They're not relevant in this chapter, though.
I know that. Well, yeah, I really don't like how they're displayed in chapter 3 either.
Yeah, we'll talk about
interesting.
that.
It's interesting. But I've never liked elves just as a race. I've just never liked them in Lord of the Rings, in D&D, in anything. And so I find it kind of validating to see them run away from everything that's actually important and go and hide in their own little corner of the world.
Yeah.
I think that's
there definitely is some more context to be had here.
Probably.
Like the Silmarillion is really their story.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, I think we'll talk about that more in chapter 3.
Okay.
But it's interesting to hear that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I'm a big dwarf fan.
Of course.
I'm a big Hobbit fan.
Yeah.
I'm a human fan.
Yes.
I just really don't like the elves. I don't know why they're part of the good guys. But
yeah. Legolas is a poor cinematic representative.
I mean, he's probably also a poor book representative.
I like him in the book.
Okay. I will hate him in the book. Not anything that he's done. Just I'm resolving that right now. I will not like it. Doesn't he only have like 3 lines of dialogue in the book?
To Frodo.
Okay.
He talks a lot. He's a yapper.
Interesting. That's unfamiliar. I'm interested in that. And we'll see if he's actually a decent elf. Hard to get. You have strange rumors that are coming about dwarves, or from the dwarves, about the east, about the enemy, about Mordor, and about the orcs.
Yes.
Those are all specifically called out. That seems kind of relevant and will be very relevant moving forward.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if, like, in the universe, is that the only news that Frodo is hearing, or is that just what the narrator is giving you in terms of what Frodo's hearing, because that's what's relevant to Frodo later on?
I think it's probably the second thing.
Yeah. So
I think another interesting thing is the beginning chapters. First chapter for sure, so much, and second chapter as well, are really like setting the tone shift from The Hobbit to the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
The first chapter less so, because that's mostly similar, and then the exception is when it's not similar to The Hobbit, by and large.
Mm-hmm.
But second chapter is kind of the opposite. You have little bits of Hobbit stuff, similarities, and it's mostly exposition, but it's also all the exposition is like, all right, we're kind of in a different story here.
Yeah.
And even like we're in a different story than we thought we were. And a lot of it's about, oh, there's that little Gollum guy from The Hobbit. It's like, oh. No,
but even that psycho. Is like messed up.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Yeah. And even the rumors they're hearing from the dwarves, it's like, oh, dwarves, that's the same. Oh, they're just leaving. They're not stopping to hire a burglar.
Yeah.
And
these are not the sing-songy guys who go and invade you for a night and then, pull you off on an adventure.
And neither, a contrast is even brought up to the trolls specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Is trolls who are in the hills, no longer dull-witted.
Yeah.
Tolkien's like, I'm not going to have trolls like that in this book. But he says it in like the most in-universe way possible.
Yeah.
But it really is sort of a on-the-nose reference that we're in a different kind of story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is the what is it, dark and gritty version of The Hobbit.
You thought you won, or you thought Gandalf and his friends won when they drove the necromancer out of Mirkwood.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he's in Mordor. He's more powerful than ever.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things like that. Those are probably the two most striking examples.
Just like in the Hobbit movies when they got rid of that guy. He was... Anyway, let's move on from that. So they end up in the Green Dragon.
Okay, it's the Green Dragon this time. Okay.
Yes.
I have it wrong in my notes.
It's the at the end of, like, right after that opening paragraph, or the couple of opening paragraphs.
Yeah. Yep, they are in the Green Dragon. I thought they were in the Ivy Bush again. They're in the Green Dragon.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very different.
Okay.
You have very different things going on. It's a different inn. It's different people.
Yes.
Debating the same things.
But it's... Yeah. So first chapter, you had Mr. Gamgee, Mr. Potato Expert himself, arguing with the miller.
Yeah.
Now it's his son, Sam, his youngest son, actually, and the miller's son. And they're arguing, but they're arguing about different things than their dads were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Sam is interesting.
Yes. Oh, yes, he is.
How would you describe him?
These first chapters really paint him as all the hobbits, except for Merry, because we're delayed in meeting him, are kind of introduced with some... They're like pleasant enough people, but we're getting shown negative qualities they need to grow out of.
Okay.
I think I'm thinking ahead to the third chapter more. What we see in the second chapter about Sam is he's a simple guy.
He's a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. He loves magical things.
He does.
He is enamored with the idea of elves.
Yes.
And he loves stories of fantastic things.
Yes.
But he's a very simple guy. Like and a lot of, except for this love for like supernatural fantastic things.
Yeah.
Which you've said is conspiracy theorist.
He is, right?
Except for that, he's a hobbit's hobbit.
Yeah, and I mean, even with that love for the idea of things, but having never seen any of them, and not,
it's a little silly.
I mean, that he's a conspiracy theorist. He's heard these stories. He thinks they sound cool. He's glorified them in his head, and nobody can convince him otherwise. Even though his cousin is not a reliable source of information, or whoever that is he's hearing from.
What, you don't believe his cousin?
His cousin, who apparently lies all the time and just says stuff.
Where did it say that?
Hal's always saying he's seen things, and maybe he sees things that ain't there. I think that's an implication. Hal is not exactly trustworthy.
I thought that was slander.
It might be slander.
It might be.
Which, I mean, Ted is not going to be a rational hobbit. He's not exactly the nicest guy, I'm assuming, but I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Question.
There's some doubt there.
Yes. And it's like, is there a tree walking? Well...
Maybe there's just not a tree.
Yeah. And it's... Okay. I don't know. And everybody at the audience thinks that Ted is like winning the argument, which is what makes me think he might be onto something. Mm-hmm. But Sam is also correct that eventually there will be trees that do walk. So like he may well have seen something. Mm-hmm. I just don't really know.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
in like 6 months.
Yeah. Eventually when we get there. Yes. And so you have different rumors being spread by Sam, or like by these other people, and Sam's picking up on them, and they are much less serious than the land of Mordor and the orcs, and there's a great power growing in the east. It's like it's a tree that walks. But I like that that's what Sam grabs onto instead of like the violent and dangerous ones.
Well, yeah, because of course he does.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. I like Sam. I was just not expecting this side of him.
He has some of the most like obvious growth.
Yeah.
Frodo grows a lot too.
Yeah.
Pippin and Merry grow a lot too, but it's not as like dramatic or noticeable as Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like he changes having these wonderful qualities. They just mature.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam's character arc seems to be he just wants to go out and see the world and just have a little fun and then come right back. And then
that's exactly right.
He's going to end up kind of doing that, but like not really. It's a lot deeper than that. So, one thing is, did you notice who's telling Sam all the stories?
That's all from Frodo and Bilbo?
It is all from Frodo and Bilbo.
Yeah.
Do you think Frodo is setting up Sam to be a traveling companion?
Given stuff we see later, absolutely not. They're just friendly with their gardeners.
Interesting. I think he is.
No, there's some like specific things. It's like I don't think there's any way.
Okay, like late in the book, or
no,
like where?
Wait, yeah, the chapters we read, man.
Yeah,
I don't think he was.
Okay.
No.
Okay, then we'll have a different take on the end of chapter 3.
Yeah.
I'm reading it correctly. You can be
okay.
You can be different.
Well, let's talk about chapter 2.
We'll get there. Okay, Frodo is telling him all these stories. Frodo also wants to go on an adventure at some point.
Yeah. He does feel sort of conflicted about it.
He is, whether intentionally or not, building an interest in Sam.
Yes.
For Sam to go somewhere.
Well, just to be like crystal clear.
Yes.
He's interested in Sam just because he's a genuine person.
Yeah.
Like Frodo is this nice, wealthy guy, and he's showing like uncommon generosity to just his gardener.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anything more than that.
Cool.
Yeah.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Curious about that. So Gandalf comes back.
Yes.
He's been gone for 9 years.
Yeah, you read through the chapter and there's like broad sweeps describing more frequent kinds of visits.
Yeah.
But before we get into like the main thrust of the chapter, 9-year gap. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he visited a bit at first and then just kind of went absent
somewhere
for a while. Gandalf's presence is a sign that something odd is about to happen, which is exactly what happens.
He doesn't show up by accident.
So that's the main purpose of the chapter. He basically comes to tell Frodo that the ring is bad news.
Yeah.
And he's sure of that because reasons.
Yeah. He doesn't tell Frodo most of what he was doing.
Yeah.
You don't like that.
I don't like that. So my main problem with this as a chapter and as the information that we get here, it feels like it's like I'm not sure what information is important and not.
I see.
Gandalf says just enough that it's like too much for a surface level overview, but it's not enough to actually get deep in the lore. And so he raises a bunch of questions and then ignores when Frodo asks like what he's doing. He just says, don't worry about it. Go on a quest. And then we just start going. So if Gandalf had kept it simpler, especially with like the Sauron bit at the beginning, if he had kept that simple, then I would have been able to read right through it and be just fine. But the way, like the amount of depth Tolkien adds to it is interesting, but
it feels
it's not
out of
explained.
Place to you. Yeah.
Like this could have been a history book, or this could have been an adventure book, and instead he rides the line and he doesn't give me either.
Interesting.
Which is fine as a choice. I just didn't
That's not
personally.
the choice you would have made.
No, I just didn't like it very much. I like
you said
committing in one direction.
Especially with the Sauron bit at the beginning. What are you referring to?
Yes. Yeah,
What are you referring to?
All of it. So, I mean, there are so many questions that are brought up in this section that I would really like to understand the answer to. The elves make rings.
Yes.
The rings are kind of boring to them, but they're dangerous to mortals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that seems important.
That's just glossed over. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a little bit to say about that, but you can continue for now.
I mean, I have so many things. And it's one of those things like, do I need an answer to this here? Not really, because ultimately I don't think that matters much for the central conceit of the story, which is there is one ring that is important to Sauron, and it's bad, and it needs to be destroyed in Mount Doom. It's just, it doesn't really explain what the rings are. It explains
it does not.
Enough to get me very curious about it. It could have just said, this is a magical artifact that's really important to Sauron, so we need to destroy it. But it tells me the elves made a bunch of rings, like they're all elf rings.
Yeah.
And then the elves only get 3 of the rings, and I guess give 7 to the dwarves and 9 to the men. Except Sauron had a hand in the 9 to the men, so did the elves make those rings, or did Sauron make those rings? Or did Sauron help the elves make those rings, and somehow he had control of them? Like, why are the elves giving all their stuff away?
Yeah,
I don't know. And that could be explained in a different book, which sounds fascinating. I would love to know the history behind it. But when I read it here, it seems unnecessary to add in as flavor, and it just seems like, well, now I'm curious about where all the rings went, but Gandalf's telling me it doesn't actually matter, so why did he bring it up to me in the first place? Basically.
Touché.
Yeah.
Touché. Yeah.
Maybe if I understood the rest of the lore, I would like this a lot better. I don't know.
There's a delicate line to walk when you're saying what is necessary information to a story.
That's true.
I think certainly everything includes, like, is making you ask questions.
Yes.
As you're reading through this first time in a while, first time in this depth.
Yeah.
So it's making you ask questions. You're like, okay, what are these connections? And like Frodo is like, I've never heard this before. What's going on?
Me for real.
Yeah. But it's alluding to like Gandalf's when you're talking to somebody and they respond like this, you get a sense of, I don't know very much, this person knows a lot.
That's true.
And maybe that's what Tolkien's trying to accomplish is
Could
Gandalf, all these things hint, like the extra details hint that, okay, Gandalf knows what he's talking about. Yeah. And he's not saying everything he knows. And it's because Frodo's barely able to get this.
Yeah.
I think.
So Gandalf is basically Jesus. I have much more to tell you, but you cannot bear it now.
You could draw that parallel there.
Okay, interesting.
But I think that's what's going on.
Yeah.
As to like...
That could be. It's definitely purposeful.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a choice.
Well, I think you're right that some of Tolkien's just... It's like, I designed a bunch of stuff. I want to say some of it. Like, there's some of that here. But he is careful in how he's packaging it, too. Yeah.
Yeah, I can I can tell there's craftsmanship here. I'm just not appreciating it.
Yeah,
and I think that's due to how I'm reading it. Because the first half I read in a very analytical way, like trying to parse it all and like figure things out. You can't do that.
No,
from the chapter.
Yeah, because you are literally in Frodo's shoes if he were wearing any.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my. And so, yeah, like I read the first half and was kind of disappointed in that. I then read the second half dropping that, like the whole Gollum section. And that was fascinating because it's just like, as a story, I can appreciate the story aspects of it. And also the Gollum section seems a lot more essentially relevant to the story, whereas all the details about how many rings and where they are just doesn't
you're right.
as much.
The ring stuff is not going to be as relevant.
Yeah.
I mean... We're going to follow up on some of that in Lothlorien.
Yeah.
But
not
a lot. And it maybe raises more questions than answers, even though it does kind of, step off from some of these thoughts.
Yeah. But that would be a good place for it, like a little bit later in.
Interesting.
Yeah. This especially in 2025. This is an odd start to a story because it's very slow, and it's very like right as the journey's about to get going, the journey stops going.
When people aren't like
attention span
dedicated Tolkien nerds, like maybe someone sitting here right now.
Yeah. Like
I've heard, yes, me. Yes, it's me. I'm talking about myself.
Definitely.
I have heard people get kind of roadblocked by this chapter, and I can understand why that happens.
Yeah. So if I didn't already have a pre-existing interest in the series, this would be like, why? Like if this is what the series is going to be, why would I read it? Mm-hmm. And so I'm glad I already have something vested in the books, but it's odd. And I think, go back a couple generations, that would have been much more normal. To some extent.
I think a little bit more normal.
Yeah.
Not much.
Definitely unique. Still, but people seem to have had a lot more patience for taking time for things, which they don't in the modern day.
Well, yes. Yeah. That's definitely true.
So
I think one thing of relevance to this talk of elven rings and such is some of this is explained in like the Silmarillion and stuff.
Okay.
Actually, like the stuff he's Gandalf like passingly refers to.
Yeah.
Is like unpacked there in much more detail.
Yeah.
Or even in letters Tolkien writes to different friends or other writers and stuff.
It makes sense to me.
But one thing that I think is interesting is Tolkien had been working on the Silmarillion, I want to say for years. I think that's true. Oh. Years before he wrote The Lord of the Rings. Oh. And maybe even before The Hobbit. Like that was his first thing. It's like he just wanted like a instrument to use his made-up elven languages in.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, I'll make my own language, and I like reading Beowulf and the Bible and stuff, so I'll write this I'll write this ancient book.
Okay.
And he loved doing that.
Interesting.
And then when he decided, well, I want to write another story.
Yeah.
And he decided, I'll make it a sequel to The Hobbit.
Yeah.
And even The Hobbit had little tidbits to some Silmarillion stuff. I'm using that broadly. Yeah. But to all his other writings, his older writings, like more legendary writings, Hobbit had like little hints of that.
Yeah.
But Lord of the Rings is like really embracing all those writings as a backstory to what it's doing. And The Hobbit really was not.
Yeah.
That's why we're seeing Tolkien taking these efforts and like shifting the tone and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing, when he's really connecting the Hobbit sequel to all these things in the Legendarium and the Silmarillion, he's like, okay, the ring's important. There's nothing about magic rings in anything he wrote in the Silmarillion at first.
Okay.
But he adds stuff to make this plot line make sense.
Okay.
And so that's where you start reading about Celebrimbor and the elven ringsmiths, and then how Sauron tries to like superimpose himself on their craftsmanship and stuff.
So like Shadow of Mordor.
I have no idea.
Bruh. Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
It abuses the lore, but like,
that's what I've heard.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter much for what we're talking about, but I think it's interesting. Like the magic ring stuff is a bridge between those legendary writings and The Hobbit.
Yeah. So for me, it feels like it didn't need to be here.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean it shouldn't be here. It was just.
It's not anything like set up to foreshadow anything. It's just like there's more going on in this world than we're gonna unpack.
Yeah. So that's just a different feel than what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I think.
Cool. Yeah. As you keep reading, it's not going to be like bits and pieces from Gandalf most of the time.
Yeah.
But Tolkien's going to keep doing this kind of thing with songs.
Okay.
He's like, here's a song about something else. And a lot of times it's something he wrote about in the Silmarillion.
Yeah. I've heard
he has characters refer back to stories in that writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad to know a bigger universe exists.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it more difficult to parse what is important for the story versus not as important for the story. And
it's,
I don't know.
if you're approaching it like knowing less of what's going on, then it's like, okay, I don't know what to hold on to.
Yeah.
What should I expect to be followed up on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think by and large, it will just be what he spends more time writing about. So hopefully it's something you will be able to ease into as you keep reading some more.
Yeah. Well, I will learn from you the ways of how to parse historical fiction as it is, or fictional historicity.
There you go.
Or something like that. So Gandalf basically comes to Frodo and says this ring is a bad thing.
Yes.
There is a mention that the ring, he keeps it on a chain because it changes size, which is interesting.
Yes.
Makes it accessible to everybody, I guess.
Yeah. It's a good catch by him.
Yeah. It's curious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the ring has a mind of its own, which is something we kind of would have read in chapter 1. It gets hinted at.
Yeah. But it's even, Gandalf kind of pushes that further, and really it's sort of horrifying.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
It's like a transformer. It's more than meets the eye.
Yes.
Like the old...
It is more than meets the eye.
It is.
Yeah. It's evil.
It is. It is. So anything to say about any of that prelude before we actually get into the lore stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Is there anything in the lore stuff? Because I have a bunch of like questions about it, but I don't think they're actually important. I do have a thing to say about Sauron eventually, but like, we'll get there. Is there anything in the lore stuff that stands out to you about how he tells it, or what he tells, or like what's interesting here?
By lore stuff, you mean this chapter?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Then
let's restrict ourselves to chapter 2.
Well, I mean, you're not talking about a specific part of the chapter.
No, just in general.
Yeah. Okay,
Gandalf starts talking, and he talks for like 20 pages, 30 pages.
Yes.
So,
yeah. With little interjections from poor, overwhelmed Frodo.
It's like, what in the world is happening? Gandalf says.
Goodness. Those are my favorite parts. They are. It makes everything we're reading more real, because we're seeing Frodo's poor, terrified reactions to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think the only thing is, it's fascinating. You mentioned you were able to lock in more on like the Smeagol story.
Yeah.
Most of that's like conjecture from Gandalf.
Yeah.
In terms of like the framing of the story, that's something Gandalf told Frodo, and then Frodo writes down what Gandalf told him, and then that's found and translated later. But Gandalf just almost tortured Gollum to get hints and pieces of things.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, I bet this is what happened, because Gollum isn't telling me the whole truth.
Yeah.
He's like, Frodo, I think this is what happened. I put together a little story about it to tell you.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even say this is how it could have happened. He's built up a little narrative about Gollum.
He's very definitive.
To tell Frodo.
Yeah.
So I thought that's kind of fascinating. Yeah.
That was, especially with the whole like, I made him fear fire.
I put the fear of fire in him, Frodo.
Okay. I mean, talk about, you've already mentioned the change from Lord of the Rings as being a more matured story, maybe a more dark story in many ways.
Yeah.
I don't think Hobbit Gandalf was going around torturing beings.
No.
But here he is.
Well, torture is probably a little too strong.
It is, but that's the vibe.
He's threatening Gollum.
Yeah. I don't feel like Hobbit Gandalf did that.
Yeah, no, but your main point, I agree with that.
So that was very interesting. I read that and I was like, oh,
yeah,
he's serious about this. Okay, interesting. So Gandalf continues to be a curious character.
Oh, he's crazy.
He does. A little bit.
He's a very interesting guy.
So, okay, do you have other lore stuff, or should I just start saying things?
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean,
no.
there's so much. There's so much.
There is. There's a lot.
Gandalf starts guessing at the ring. Like Bilbo gets it, and he starts having questions, and he takes it to. He dates it back to the year after the White Council drove the evil from Mirkwood.
Yeah.
Which
is like.
Is right before The Hobbit.
That's more than.
It's 80 years ago. at this point.
In this chapter?
I think so.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, but like, I mean, even with that, okay, there's evil in Mirkwood. That feels like an attempt to draw whatever was in The Hobbit more fully into the lore of The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that wasn't really part of The Hobbit.
There's just a side plot in The Hobbit, which very interesting. We're not talking about The Hobbit, but he's like, I need some reason for Gandalf to leave. He's working with some other guys, the White Council, to fight a necromancer.
Yeah.
And that's why he's not here.
There's a White Council.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I mean,
no,
it's
one of those
the
things. One of those things we're just hinted at right now. But spoilers, it's something that is more relevant than the Elven Ringsmiths.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That's useful. I know that Saruman's part of it.
Yeah, he's the leader.
He's the leader. Yeah. And then Gandalf is also in there. So the evil gets kicked out of Mirkwood and ends up moving down to Mordor eventually. I don't really know. Like, this is just like why didn't they just chase it? Right? And if they thought it was a bad enough problem and then they just scare it away, you could just go down and fight it while it's there.
That will be elaborated on a little bit too.
Interesting.
And what's the first chapter of the second part of the Fellowship of the Ring?
Okay.
Or not the first. One of the very first chapters.
Later
Council
on.
of Elrond.
Okay.
That will be talked about some more.
That seems useful. Okay, that would be good. Saruman is in charge of Gandalf.
Yes.
He's the white.
The head of my order.
Which there's an order of wizards. I know that because I know a little bit.
3 of them?
5 of them.
5 of them?
There are 2 blue ones, but we don't know who they are.
2 blue wizards, but I have quite forgotten their names.
Apparently.
Yeah, so we got at least 5 wizards.
Yes.
Probably just 5 wizards.
Yeah. So why are there 2 blues, but only one of the white, brown, and gray? Anyway, that's not important.
Yeah, having a fun time.
Saruman studies the Elven Rings. That is his specialty.
Yes.
What is Gandalf specialized in? Because all he says is, I study hobbits, and nobody else does. And I don't know if, that's his specialty. I'm sure it's not. Is there...
You should think about what his specialty is.
Okay.
Yeah, you should think about that.
Okay. See, it's like... is that important? I don't know. I know, as a first-time reader to this book, he name-drops Saruman.
Yeah.
He name-drops Aragorn later on.
Yeah, that's one of the things I have here.
Which is I know that they're relevant because I've read the books a long time ago and I've seen the movies. And I know that they come up later. If I was reading this for the first time and they're just wrapped up in the ring business and the everything else that may or may not be relevant, I don't know how much I would conceptualize that. At the same time, I don't know how much I'm supposed to actually gain from knowing who they are at this point.
Not too much yet.
It is very odd to be reading this after a long absence because,
sure.
I know the story, but also I don't know the story, and so it is
an interesting place to be in for sure.
Yeah, it's probably complicating how I'm reading it more than I give it credit for.
One thing is, I don't think Tolkien really mentions... Okay, I can't say that. In this chapter, I don't think he mentions names unless they're important later on.
Okay.
The 3 main people, it's an interesting trio. He mentions Gollum, Saruman, and Aragorn.
Yeah.
And all those people are going to be really important.
Yeah. Well, and Sauron.
Yeah.
He's
just a jerk.
Kind of important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sauron is... I'll get to him in just a second.
Okay, yeah. You keep going. You keep going.
I am curious as to how long Saruman is specifically evil, and maybe this comes up more in the Two Towers.
Same Council of Elrond chapter.
Interesting. Yeah. Because he just basically says the ring is not bad, and Gandalf only...
And that's one of the things that makes Gandalf say, okay, if he doesn't think it's bad, then maybe I'm worried about this for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually Gandalf is going to come to that realization. I don't know if he's come to the realization that Saruman is intentionally deceiving him. I don't know if Saruman was intentionally deceiving him back then. I don't know if that's elaborated on later. Those are just questions that I have.
It definitely is.
Okay. It's intentional.
And I'll say right now, the reason Gandalf doesn't mention Saruman is evil is because right now he does not know that.
Okay. Yeah. He just thinks Saruman's mistaken.
Yeah.
But Saruman is Saruman directly evil right now, or is that just we'll talk about that in part 2.
Yeah, I think we'll wait on that.
Okay, cool. So Saruman is interesting.
Yes.
That's what I'll have to say there.
What we know right now is somehow or another he really misdirected Gandalf's worries about the ring.
Yeah. So either he's an idiot or he is not great, and we would rather him be an idiot than not great.
Idiot or an evil person.
Yeah. Okay. So Gandalf does drop this warning in the middle of this where he says it would be terrible if the Dark Tower or if the Dark Power made it to the Shire to enslave its people.
Yeah.
I assume by Dark Power he's talking about Sauron.
Yes.
Which is going to be interesting because Sauron never makes it there. But Saruman does end up making it there, and so I'm sure that I want to remember this for like the end of Return of the King, however many years it takes us to get over there, because that seems interesting that that Saruman will end up being the fulfillment of the Dark Power, even though Sauron will be defeated. You have so many ideas, or maybe
I hadn't really appreciated this till I heard you mention it, but there is a really amazing connection.
Okay.
Between. It's not like super profound because all Gandalf says it'd be really sad if this happened.
Yeah.
But. Yeah. It's. End of Return of the King is
important.
Amazing.
Let's remember to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll make a footnote for.
We'll definitely
2 years
remember
from
that.
Now.
Have you ever played Lord of the Rings Conquest? I think that's what it's called.
No, I had some friends who did.
It's like Battlefront 2, but like Lord of the Rings.
And jankier.
Yes, it's very janky. At the end of the campaign, if you play the evil campaign,
you're like the Balrog and the Witch King and Sauron running around killing hobbits
in Shire. Yeah. It's glorious.
That's insane.
It's terrible, but it's hilarious. They die quite satisfyingly. So I guess that was because of what Gandalf said. That's the
something like
it's
that.
It's canon. It's canon in my dreams. There's this whole bit where Gandalf takes the ring and throws it into the fire.
Yes.
Which is interesting that he's willing to at least touch the chain that the ring is on. He doesn't actually touch the ring. He takes the chain.
Is that right? Okay.
I think it is. If I wrote it down correctly, which I don't know. He does pull it from. It just says he held it up and then he threw it into the fire. Okay. So I assume it's the chain. It mentions that Frodo grabs it out on the chain and then Gandalf holds it up.
Okay, so that's probably what it is.
I don't know. Okay. The ring is quite heavy, and Frodo gets a sense that it doesn't want to leave him, which starts to be even more nefarious.
Just nefarious foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting. It's already hinting at. It's both the ring's willpower and Frodo's corruption.
Exactly.
Right. And so you have both of those elements
that
are
a ton of overlap, right? Yeah.
So important going forward. Then their suspicion is confirmed that this ends up being the one that is the master ring. I did have a question on how did Gandalf know that it was that one? Although he talks about how the elves have theirs, the men's are Sauron's, and Sauron secured the other 3 dwarf rings, and 4 of them have been eaten by dragons. Mm-hmm. So I assume he just counted, and there was only one that was left over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically what it boils down to. He's all the great rings are accounted for one way or another.
Yeah.
There's no way. The only maybe nebulous thing is it could be a dwarf great ring of power.
Maybe.
But he's I don't think so.
Yeah.
So this is either a minor ring, which he does not think, or it's the one ring, which he's that'd be crazy. No.
That would be very interesting.
And Saruman said it's not, at this point he says, I know lots of things, but I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But I don't doubt my guess.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident, but simple test put it in the fire and suddenly okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad that's confirmed. And then we move on. Then he starts spilling the beans on who Sauron is. He's the one who moved from Mirkwood to Mordor.
Yes.
Cool. Kind of just filling in the story from The Hobbit, but making that make sense.
Filling in the years of silence, as it were.
Yeah. It's not just... That was not just the story where Bilbo went and got the ring. That was a story involving the ring. It was also involving Sauron after a fashion. It was also very important to the future of the world, much more so than just a guy found a piece of gold in a cave somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. So it makes sense when you have a popular book to incorporate that into your series.
Yeah.
So
I think it's cool.
And it makes sense. Like it's a natural extension.
Yeah.
Of what was not planned out before, but suddenly becomes very useful.
Yeah. I have like one small thought here.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're talking about Gandalf testing the ring, and that line I was just making fun of in my terrible Gandalf voice.
Yes.
Which is, I no longer doubt my guess.
Yes.
I just tidbit, not super relevant to the chapter, but maybe for like spiritual applications is that's just how faith works.
Yeah.
It's not a blind leap like Gandalf has done his research, but there's no way he can know for sure in this moment.
Yeah.
But he doesn't doubt his guess.
Yeah.
It's like, do I know God exists like 100%? Well, not based on facts. Like I can't scientifically prove that one way or another.
Yeah.
But I don't doubt my guess, as it were.
Yeah. There's every reason to believe exactly what he knows because he knows it to be true. It's just like, okay, there's this one technical proof I haven't gone through where I haven't seen it with my eyes, but I know it, and he's
that's
sure
sort of
of
where
that.
the connection falls apart. Is like there's not something I can do right now to, it's like, aha, now I know scientifically for sure.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting to think about.
It is a version of faith. He's right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It'd be a very different story if it's like, oh, okay.
Well,
I'm glad I'm wrong.
This is just one of the ones that the elves got rid of. I don't really care about this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. That makes sense to me. The One Ring is said to be the thing that's going to extend Sauron's power to enable him to cover the world in darkness.
In a second darkness. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
What? What's interesting?
Oh, second darkness implying great darkness beforehand.
There was a first.
Yeah.
There was
Which is just, I think he's talking about the first time Sauron was really bad news.
Yeah. Well, he does call it the beginnings lie back in the black years. So I assume that's the dark times.
Maybe it's further back. But anyway, one way or another, Sauron gets the ring bad news.
Yeah. Apparently, I do have questions on like what that means because for mortals at least, it is a ring that grants invisibility.
Yes.
For Sauron, it does not grant invisibility.
No.
And so, I have questions on that. The one thing that I read later on in the chapter that might make sense is through that one ring, Sauron has the ability to control all the other rings.
Yes.
And that's one part of lore where like I don't really know how that works, but because it's the point of the story, like I can get that is how Tolkien decided it will work, and I would like an explanation at a separate time.
I think technically it's a holdover from The Hobbit.
Okay.
Technically.
Okay.
But I think he integrates it just fine. This isn't something ever spelled out exactly. Some more of it will be spelled out in like Lothlorien later.
Okay.
So I won't talk to those issues.
Yeah.
I think one thing, like you mentioned earlier, all this business of how does the magic for the rings work? Tolkien's not interested in developing a magic system.
Unfortunately.
He just says, this is how magic works. And there's like little bits and pieces. I think he spells it out because he doesn't know and he also doesn't care too much.
Yeah. Which I don't really like magic systems like that personally.
No.
But I can understand.
It works when all our POV characters are, most of them are hobbits.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, they don't have magic.
Yeah.
So this is what it feels like to them.
Gandalf is the only one, and also he's not around that much. I mean, so it doesn't ultimately make a great difference.
So magic's not spelled out for the rings or just in general.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But one thing we see is the idea of the ring like amplifying one's personal power.
Okay.
Particularly the One Ring, but maybe the Great Rings in general.
Yeah.
Because Sauron is afraid when, this is super spoilers.
Yeah.
He's afraid when he thinks Aragorn might have taken the ring because he's a really great man.
Okay.
And Gandalf says, no, even in this chapter, if I took the ring, I'd be a new Sauron.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't want to. So it amplifies personal power.
Yeah.
We read the hobbits are really good at being sneaky. Just innately good at that.
Yeah.
So maybe the ring's invisibility is a Hobbit-specific thing.
So do you think if Gandalf wore the ring, he would not be invisible?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not unless he wanted to be.
That would make a lot more sense.
Yeah. I think it's
I like
probably
that
something
idea.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. That would align a lot better with
the One Ring
with
is
the Sauron bit.
for domination.
Okay.
So Sauron uses it, and he can. That's a very abstract idea, but he can dominate.
Yeah.
And even control other rings of power, the people wearing the rings of power.
Yeah. And so I assume that what he means when, Sauron will cover the world in darkness, part of that would be he would get an influence over the elf rings.
That'd be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just, again, his personal power being greatly increased.
Yeah.
And he's already
Whatever
bad enough
that
without
means.
it. Yeah. Gandalf's like, we're already in a bad place because Sauron's back. We can't let him get this ring.
Yeah.
What's bad enough as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense than reading through it and being,
that's something that's not really spelled out.
No.
And that's something people only think about after they've read this and maybe the Silmarillion too.
Yeah.
So it is sort of, in this story, Ring's power is very nebulous, but that's a theory I think makes sense.
Okay, cool. I can deal with that. The elves have rings, the dwarves have rings, the men have rings.
Yes.
Interesting to see the difference between them, right? Because the elves manage to hide their rings.
Yes.
Never get taken. The dwarves don't hide their rings, but they also don't give them up. They have them taken by the dragons or by Sauron himself.
Yes.
The men just accept the corruption, essentially. They put up no force against it. And so it's interesting to see like the degradation between the races, as the elves are the closest to the divine beings, and so they're the ones who get away basically free, whereas the dwarves lose a bit, whereas the humans are just like fallen are the humans, right? They're kind of trashy. And so I think there's something to that distinction.
I think there probably is.
Yeah, which is probably why there's so many warnings against men not holding the ring, because they are the weakest of the races in terms of corruptibility or something like that. I'm guessing that falls back on this idea.
Yeah, there's definitely like more to it than that, but I think that's serviceable. Yeah. Seeing elf, dwarf, man.
Which he only had one line about that, but like that's a line that makes sense to me. Yeah. Cool. If he had added a second line about that, I would be mad.
Even in this story, like in the War of the Ring, like elves aren't fighting for Sauron, dwarves aren't fighting for Sauron, but a lot of people, a lot of men are. Yeah.
Unfortunate. So Sauron basically, Gandalf says that Sauron thinks the ring has been destroyed.
Yeah.
That does not make sense to me. And I don't know
because if it was destroyed, he'd be destroyed.
Yes. Right? Or at least that's my supposition, because Gandalf is treating this like destroy the ring, you'll get rid of Sauron.
Yeah.
Well, if the ring is tied to Sauron's life force, which I think it is, then Sauron would know that the ring has not been destroyed.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if Sauron's unaware of that, or...
I think that's the implication.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Is curious.
Interesting to reveal such a blind spot.
Yes.
And you did read, I don't remember exactly, but you did read that Gandalf says like Sauron will be destroyed if this ring is destroyed.
I don't remember him. I don't think he says it specifically.
Yeah. I wonder if that's something nobody knows.
Yeah. It's just like get rid of the ring because
we don't want him to have it.
We don't want the potential of him even getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be interesting. That would make the quest more like, hey, delay Sauron's power and make him slightly weaker.
Lower the ceiling.
Yeah.
Something
which
like
is different from like go save the world.
Yeah. That might be something spelled out later on.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like the expectation, maybe it's just like a Peter Jacksonism.
Yeah. I'm wondering. I'm curious.
Yeah. Maybe there's someone listening screaming right now. It's like, no, it's in this chapter, you idiots.
Yeah.
I don't remember right now. But the fact that Sauron imagines that he could be as he is and the ring not destroyed.
Yeah.
if anyone would know, it'd probably be him, right?
Oh, I would assume so.
Yeah. So I think people just don't know that, okay, he's like really tied to the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So reading that, basically it means the quest is not exactly to save the world necessarily.
Yeah.
The quest is to
not
give the world
in a short-term way.
Give the world the best chance possible at resisting Sauron.
Yeah.
But it's not really to destroy the Dark Lord by throwing the ring in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to destroy him some other way, or like he says, we'll have to kill the shadow and then the shadow moves on.
Yeah.
And you'll have to do that forever, but at least we can get rid of a source of his power.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
which is a different quest. Alternately, it is a quest to destroy Sauron, ultimately. Mm-hmm. And Sauron just doesn't know that his life force is in the ring, which makes Sauron not really omnipotent.
Yeah.
But he's also not really omnipotent.
Yeah.
Which is
he's
something...
just a really powerful guy.
Yeah. And so that itself is a perspective that I haven't really thought of before. I guess because I've seen the movies so much, and it's like, that is the all-seeing eye. Like, he knows stuff, but even in the movies, he doesn't really know all that much
in the
stuff.
movies, he only sees where the spotlight lands.
Yeah. And so I think I've just misconstrued a lot of Sauron lore.
That is one of
my
my biggest gripes with Peter Jackson. Mm-hmm. Tolkien talks a lot, like people refer to Sauron as like the Great Eye.
Yeah.
But that's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Like he's, even in Lord of the Rings, he's like a human-shaped dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's a cool eyeball.
No.
It is pretty cool.
It's cool, like,
it's
for
cool
half
symbol.
a second.
And he's also,
Anyway.
I mean, he can't see everything because there's a bit in
that's the
Return of the King where he's looking right at Frodo in Mordor, and then Aragorn walks up to the gate and Sauron says, "Oh, wait, I got business over here."
Oh my word! But no, you're right. Even here, we're getting hints. I think at Sauron doesn't know everything. Fallibility,
which is interesting.
But
he's an evil being.
That's going to be unraveled more and more.
Yeah.
Or revealed, rather. Yeah. We're going to see more and more of Sauron's blind spots.
Yeah.
And even the tools he uses to achieve whatever power he does.
Yeah. Everyone has always described Sauron to me as like this unstoppable force of evil, essentially. Mm-hmm. The fact that he might just like not know some stuff means he's actually kind of a relatable character.
Yeah.
Which is not what I was expecting at all.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting.
Yes.
Interesting to me. Okay. We should speed this up. We have a whole Smeagol section to go through. Although I don't have that many questions about it because, I understand the Smeagol section quite a bit more. Gandalf can trace the history of the ring and make logical guesses as to why it's here now.
Yeah.
Sauron can't trace the history of the ring and make logical guesses as to where it is. Or maybe Sauron has just developed that ability. Maybe that's something that the Gollum problem solves, because Gollum has only been captured recently. Okay.
Gollum was the missing piece.
Yeah.
And that's something that, because of Bilbo, that's an advantage Gandalf just happens to have.
Yeah.
But it's something, as Gandalf's telling the story, we find out he's lost because Smeagol was in Mordor.
Mm-hmm.
Smeagol was literally brought before Sauron.
Yeah.
And so that's one reason Gandalf is really nervous now.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, you have the One Ring. It's, you have the One Ring and Sauron tortured Smeagol.
Yeah. Well, if Bilbo hadn't been stupidly polite and given his name.
It's like, Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a bad idea. Bad play. If you're going to, play riddles with someone, don't give them your name, and then they can't track you down and dox you to the enemy, I guess. So you have Gandalf chasing Smeagol, and then he goes into the whole backstory, some of which may be just made up, a lot of which supposition. Yeah, guesses. Conjecture is a good way to say that. The ring makes Smeagol hide from the sun, which is fascinating. You have things to say on this.
Well, you finish up what you were thinking about. But yeah, Smeagol's like one of the most fascinating parts here.
Yeah, I'm going to use the terms interchangeably because he's the same guy. Part of the ring's corruptive influences to make a person hide from the light, which has a deep spiritual meaning and implication there. It must be an analogy, I think, an allegory even for something important.
Well, sure.
The shadows, the shame, the guilt that Smeagol feels, it is intensified from the ring. but it's also intensified not to the extent that Smeagol rejects it,
No.
but to the extent that Smeagol rejects everything else around him, which is he delves into the shame and guilt. He feels so much guilt that he pursues more guilt, and he goes and hides under a mountain instead of being with friends and family who might be able to actually help him.
Yeah.
That seems important. That
so
seems like a bad
sad.
decision. Yeah.
It's so sad.
There's a reason
Smeagol
he pities.
says, Gandalf puts this line to Smeagol, which is something along the line of, why is the world so hard and cruel? Like, you imagine Smeagol complaining about life's hardship as his family justly throw him out after a period of time, and as he slinks beneath the mountains.
Yeah.
His coping mechanism is so twisted, which is Gandalf says he loves and hates the ring like he loves and hates himself.
Yeah.
And that's how it is, like, with these, like, dominating, like, temptations and vices is, I hate this. I don't want to deal with feeling this way, so I'll just dive further into this.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally how it goes. So it's so sad. It's so messed up, man. Yeah.
But that's where he's at. I mean, people do that all the time.
People do that. And it's, yeah. So Smeagol's dodging personal responsibility. And unlike Bilbo, like, Smeagol isn't such a bad place because the initial acquiring of the ring was done, like, so much differently.
Yeah.
Like, Bilbo
chanced upon it.
He didn't kill Gollum.
Yeah.
Gollum,
specifically withheld because he had the opportunity, but he didn't.
Gollum does kill his friend or cousin Deagle. And that really accelerates the corruption process.
Rip that guy.
Yeah.
But he starts biting people's feet, so I don't know why that detail is included in there.
That's like Genesis 3.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that could make sense. Yeah.
Well, it's also just that idea of someone groveling but still, like, trying to fight.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't think it's just that.
Interesting. He's at least gone down to all fours instead of walking upright like a man.
Yeah. Now that's frightening.
Going back down to an animalistic nature.
It's scary when you see Bilbo acting not like Bilbo in the first chapter. But then you say, oh, Gollum was like a hobbit, or basically a hobbit, and he's like devolving into this beast creature.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that Frodo is so disgusted. Like, it's one thing to just see Gollum and go, oh, that's nasty.
Yeah.
Another to say, he used to be like you.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a very comfortable thing.
Yeah, and even with Gollum, right? When Bilbo got rid of the ring, he felt better, and he went outside and touched grass. Right? He went on a journey, and he enjoyed himself, at least for a while, and went and did something else. Gollum, it says he felt better, and then he went in pursuit of the ring again. is the driving force for why he came outside.
Yeah.
Bilbo was able to
he doesn't know what to do with himself without it.
At least Bilbo was able to put it down and go have a scarred but relatively normal life.
Yeah.
Whereas Gollum wasn't able to give it up even in that much loss, which is depressing.
Very.
Rip Gollum.
Yeah.
Rip the homie.
One of the most striking things, and like one of the most, like, we're getting tons of things foreshadowed.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, themes being foreshadowed, like, this is sort of the bread and butter of the story, is Gandalf says, that's horrible, that's disgusting. I can't believe he literally says, I can't believe he used to be a hobbit.
Yeah.
Which isn't Gandalf, I don't think this matches up the history of these people who live by the river. He's like, it's just a completely emotional response.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Because that makes me very uncomfortable. Yeah. Well, Gandalf says, well, I've known some hobbits that could have happened to.
Yeah.
Which he's just driving that further home.
Yeah.
And he says, and later on, I'll talk some more about this in a minute, but you see Frodo is, like, in the denial stage or bartering stage He's like, I wish this had never come to me. And even as a pity, Bilbo didn't kill that wretched guy when he had the chance.
Yeah.
And, of course, just amazing zinger, which is, Gandalf says, pity? It was pity that stayed his hand.
Yeah.
And he says, that made a big difference, too.
Mm-hmm.
And showing mercy even to something so nasty and disgusting is something we'll see with 3 characters, sort of 4 characters.
Okay.
And it goes up by power levels, too, which I think is interesting, is Gollum, who we spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Then Wormtongue, Saruman, and even Sauron to an extent.
Okay. You should point those out as we go along.
I will.
Okay.
But yeah, mostly it's with Gollum.
Cool. It's cool. The pity that Bilbo showed will ultimately save everybody in the end.
Exactly.
Which is a fascinating way to wrap that up.
It is. And Tolkien's not subtle with it either. He's like,
no. Maybe
the pity of Bilbo will rule the day.
And it will.
It will.
It's pretty cool. And so that's interesting with the whole, like, I feel like there are several things that are being set up here that are just going to get paid off in reverse order at the end of the book.
Yeah, I think that's right.
There's the peace of the Shire, which will be the peace of the Shire ultimately. There's the conflict in the Shire that's matches up with the darkness is going to come in and enslave them, and then it does through the hand of Saruman. You have Gollum, who's the outset of the problem. He introduces Sauron to the hobbits.
Yeah.
Right, and so he begins the whole problem, but he's also the solution to the problem at the end. It's like a weird chiasm kind of thing.
No, yeah.
Out at the end of the book, which is, totally invented, but also may well be in the mind of Tolkien as he's writing this, that he knows exactly where this is going to end up. Let's see. Do you have other things? You said you would say something in a minute.
I was just going to unpack a couple thoughts about Frodo here.
Sure.
Like I said already, that's my favorite part of this chapter, is seeing Frodo. And it's not like, whoa, he's so cool. It's like, yeah, that's really real.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to relate to Gollum like we were already talking about. And how on earth did it come to me? It's like, how? Bilbo was just going through a cave and I just happened to be adopted by Bilbo and it happens to be this ring? Yeah. What are the chances of that?
Yeah.
And how on earth did it come to me? And he's at the end, why did it come to me? It's like, and Gandalf says a couple of amazing lines of wisdom. Thank you, Tolkien.
Yeah.
Which is, well, the first one was not for us to decide what times we live in, but to do our best with the time we have.
Yeah.
That's not an exact quote, but it's close, okay?
Yeah. It works.
It's for us to decide what to do with the time we have. And that's so true. You can't live in the past or second guess things. You have to do what you can where you are.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
That seems relevant.
And Gandalf says, this is where you are. You got to do something.
Yeah.
And
who knows if you were put in the situation for such a time as this?
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Is connection to Esther.
Interesting.
Where Frodo objects again. And Gandalf says, well, he says, this is the strangest thing in like the history of the ring, is that Bilbo happened to find the ring.
Yeah.
He says, it's so strange. It's almost like it was meant to happen. And that would mean, Frodo, that you were meant to have the ring. And that may be a comforting thought. Yeah. And Frodo says, no, it's not.
Not really.
But that is that's a very Esther idea, I think, even like biblical more broadly.
Yeah.
Which is, hey, you're here. Maybe it's for a really important reason that God wanted you to be here.
Yeah.
So you should do your best where you are.
Yeah.
Because you have an opportunity to do something good.
Yeah. You don't know for sure, but may as well try.
Yeah.
Just in case.
You have an opportunity to do something good. You don't know if it's going to be grand or fall flat.
Yeah.
But you should do your best to do your best.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's why I love that is Gandalf's responses to Frodo are so
I wonder
so
what
good.
Tolkien's relationship with fate and destiny are.
Yes.
We should not delve into this right now.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about that because Aragorn is like the chosen king. and he fulfills his destiny much more simply in the books than he does in the movies. Apparently, he's much more willing in the book than he is in the movie. But I don't know. I'm interested to explore that concept later on.
I will just say I don't think it overrides free will of the characters. I don't think Tolkien. I'm almost certain he didn't believe that.
Yeah.
And I don't think he inserts something so. I don't think he inserts that into this book.
Yeah.
It is. There's hints at providence.
Okay.
Through
Makes
not
sense.
God.
Yeah.
Who's never named, and not to the angels who are sometimes named. There's we don't see Gandalf is sort of angel or whatever, but there's greater powers than him.
Okay.
And
interesting.
And we don't read about them doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of things that happen in the story. It's that was providential.
I'm glad.
And I don't think Tolkien. Let me just rephrase that. Tolkien intends for us to see that as providential.
Cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. Yeah. So I'm sure that we'll see different instances of that.
Yeah.
So be sure to bring that back up. I do think one last word on Gollum, at least from me. It's interesting that something's capacity for good is equal and opposite to its capacity for evil.
Yes.
Right? If you are not capable of doing much good, you're not capable of doing much evil.
Yeah.
People who are the most effective or who do the most evil in the world, they had so much opportunity to use those skills and abilities for something worthwhile.
I think that's right.
What Gandalf demonstrates in Chapter 2 is there is a capacity for hobbits to go the Gollum route and go absolutely messed up beyond all comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the capacity for Frodo to just drop everything and say, yeah, I'll take this on the journey.
Yeah.
Which is
where he's really impressed by that.
Yeah, which is where Gandalf says, you can learn everything that they can do in a week, but they're still going to surprise you every single time because there is an untapped potential for good and evil that the hobbits never really reach when they just kind of settle down in Hobbiton and don't move on.
I love that.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So I like that. I think that's in there.
And it is actually last thing.
Of course.
It is beautiful that despite Frodo going, what? Oh no, why? Throughout the chapter, when push comes to shove and we're here at the end, he says, I don't know if I'll take it all the way to Mordor, which Gandalf is like, no one said that.
Yeah.
Frodo says, I don't know about that, but I'll take it a little ways. I can do that. I'm ready to do that.
Yeah. And he wants to do that. He wants to preserve the Shire. There's a whole line in here about how the Shire is stupid and lazy, but there is value in having somewhere like that. Mm-hmm. And so he wants to preserve that by just take the threat out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like a fatherly action on Frodo's part. It's almost the idea of kids should have a childhood kind of thing. I'm going to step into the breach.
Yeah.
For this to exist.
Yeah. He sees absolute failings in his people, which he's right to criticize, but he also sees potential in his people, which he's right to elevate and to glorify. And so he's he's kind of like Jesus. Yeah. I don't know, man.
When people do good things, they're like Jesus. That's kind of the point of this.
Yeah, because he was pretty good. So there's value to having that place of comfort because that inspires you to go out somewhere and to accomplish something. Yeah. And then you always have somewhere to come back to. And Frodo even says it would be more difficult to go out if I didn't have this behind me.
Exactly.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Very beautiful.
So important. At the very end of this chapter, we're finally getting there. We're so close. Gandalf recruits Sam.
He just says, he just lifts him through the window
by his ear.
He grabs him. That.
Well,
he grabbed his ear at first.
He raised his head into the frame by an ear, which seems uncomfortable.
Such a vivid picture.
Yes, very much is. Sam is a funny guy.
Yeah. He lies. I wasn't eavesdropping, and he plays dumb. There's no eaves here.
It's a good joke, but
it's a good joke.
Yeah, he's just.
But yeah, he's
a dumb guy. He's nice.
Stupid.
Yeah, he's not actually that stupid. He's just intimidated, rightfully so. Nowhere Gandalf has ever gone has gone well. And so even being associated, it's like he's fascinated with the stories Gandalf has to tell, but he doesn't actually want to meet Gandalf in person.
Well, that's maybe part of it.
Yeah.
It's also definitely a private conversation he wasn't invited to.
A little bit. But hobbits are curious.
Yeah.
Hobbits are nosy.
And like, I think we missed this because in Jackson's movies, he makes them like fast friends.
Yeah.
But this is just, he's like 20 or 30 years younger than Frodo.
Yeah.
And he's just his gardener.
Yeah.
So he's like, he can't just barge in and say, can I be on this conversation too?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's the gardener listening at the window.
Yeah, he doesn't really have he doesn't have a purpose there. He's not supposed to be there.
His reaction at the end is a good summary.
Yeah.
Which is, he's like, yippee, or hooray, I'm going to go with Frodo.
Yeah.
And then he bursts into tears.
Mm-hmm.
This is exciting and sad.
Very divided. He's like Frodo.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to me, the way that the story is phrased, because you said, Frodo is not picking Sam to be his companion. Mm-hmm. But the way that the story is phrased is very interesting. Gandalf recommends Frodo choose a companion, and then immediately Gandalf chooses Sam for Frodo.
Yes.
And so this is either Gandalf saying, Frodo, you don't actually get a choice in this, here's your companion, or this is Gandalf recognizing a choice that Frodo has already made.
I think it's the first one.
I think it's the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Gandalf is not really the one who makes the choices for people. Gandalf does, he even says, like, Frodo, I can't force you to do anything, right? Gandalf does not force Bilbo to go out of his door, but because of Gandalf's presence, Gandalf is the arbiter of change. Bilbo decides to go out his door, right? There's like a push, an encouragement, but ultimately Bilbo has to make that decision.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
In The Lord of the Rings, he doesn't make choices for Bilbo or Frodo.
Yeah.
But in The Hobbit, he twisted Bilbo's arm to be the burglar.
Okay. I don't remember that.
Bilbo does end up choosing, but
it is hefty encouragement. I remember that.
Gandalf foists dwarves on Bilbo.
Yes.
He foists the office of burglary onto Frodo. Or Bilbo, rather.
Yeah.
Bilbo. And I think he's doing the same thing with Sam. Is, you're a loyal guy. Keep doing that.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
I think we can talk about this some more a couple chapters from now.
Okay.
I think it's 2 chapters from now, where I think it becomes very clear, like, Frodo really has no intention of taking anyone else.
Yeah. I think it was definitely inadvertent, but it's curious to me. Gandalf says you should get a companion. Here's your companion. It just so happens to be the guy who's connected to Frodo. Just so happens to be the guy whose family has always been connected to Frodo. Just so happens to be the guy who has been inspired to have an interest in going outside of the Shire because of the stories that Frodo has told him.
To be.
Providence.
Gandalf is choosing someone he knows will be a good companion.
Well, yes, it's just the guy who has been through all these life circumstances.
Yeah.
Who has just so happened to align at this point. So, interesting. You can call that fate if you want to, or providence, or whatever that is.
I think Gandalf's just being a smart guy.
Could be. Could be. Gandalf comes by and, whatever the case, solidifies that Frodo is actually going on a journey.
Yes.
Which Frodo would not do on his own. Okay. Any other things to add?
No,
there?
that's it.
Okay. That's probably good. Couple minutes over what we intended to do, but hey, next time I only have 4 pages of notes for chapter 3 instead of 6.
That will make a difference.
It will make somewhat
My
of a
notes
difference.
are shorter too. I only have a page for each.
Only a page.
This guy's
for each?
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just actually write out my thoughts because I have thoughts that need to be written out.
Yeah.
I'm just dumb and forget stuff if I don't.
No, me too.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. We'll read over chapter 3 and then chat about that a bit.